Hi, friends, and welcome back to We're Already Here. I know we took a very long extended break between seasons 1 and 2, so I'm going to get right into it. I am hyped to kick off season 2 and really refocus what I want this podcast to be about. So, season 1 was all about celebrating who we are through the highs and lows in our lives and understanding the story that we've created for ourselves. It was a place to talk about the lessons we learn from being low rather than the constant consumption of the highlight reel that we see in the world every single day. Like, that's not a novel idea. We all know social media, ads, even like conversations, constant highlight reel. So I wanted it to be a place to really celebrate the lows because there's a lot of good that can come out of it. Let let me be vulnerable because season 1 was also about, like celebrating vulnerability. I don't think my message was clear. I don't think my mission was clear either. I think that tagline and initial message was a really good starting place, but I think it was vague and didn't really give a direction of my mission. My mission is to share tools that everyday people can use to show up better for themselves and others. And I'll explain what that means in just a little bit. I couldn't exactly figure out how to put words to that mission, but I was inspired by how Andrew Huberman says in his podcast, The Huberman Lab, which is I want to share zero cost to consumer tools on how to improve your emotional health. I want to share tools on how to be a more resilient, stronger person who can go through hardship and come out better, and how to experience lows and get the most out of it instead of just waiting for time to go by and waiting for the really hard feelings, the hurt to just pass. I want to share tools on how to really soak in the highs, soak in the good in life without angst from the past or fear of the future, and show up for others and do good in the world without losing ourselves or expecting good in return. Not everyone can afford hundreds of dollars and therapists and gurus and healers, and like reading and listening to those gurus and mental health influencers can only impact us so much. Like for me, I'll read something and be like, wow, so powerful. Like that's so profound. And then just go back to being sad. Like, what's the point? I want to share tools on how we can all be stronger people, more resilient people, healthier people, people who make better decisions for ourselves, people who don't crumble under the hardships in life, but learn from them and get better from them. If you are an emotionally healthier person, you become a better person in other people's lives just naturally. Like, I have a very strong belief that if we take care of the home, if we love the home, and we know what we want for ourselves, everything else will fall into place. So, here's what season 2 is going to look like. I will be interviewing people who have been through hard things, how they got through those hard things, and onto the other side. Like I mentioned briefly, my view on going through hardship, and that's my view, not the professional view. So if you have a therapist, listen to them instead of me. Going through the things that make you feel ferociously terrible first teaches you how to experience all the hurt without trying to escape it, distract yourself from it, or medicate it. There's so much to learn by exploring really powerful emotions. Still today in 2023, people think it's weak to show emotion when really being able to sit with your emotion and really feel that and be honest about what you're feeling is one of the strongest things you can do. Only a strong person who isn't embarrassed of themselves can do that. Then once you're in a place where you've processed the most intense emotions and can think more critically, we can really learn to soak up every last drop of lessons, learning, and value that you can get out of that hardship. You already feel so terrible when you're at rock bottom. You might as well get something out of it. There's no better catapult for growth than hitting rock bottom. Like, think of a rubber band, right? Like, the tighter you pull that rubber band, the more that rubber band is just stretch, 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 stretch. When you release it, the further it stretch, the further the projectile is going to go. That's kind of how I think about the relationship between hard times, the lows in life, and growth. It's also an opportunity to learn about yourself. The lows really teach you what matters the most in your life. And when you have that sense of knowing, is when you make the best decisions for yourself. And this is something for me that I know intellectually, but I'm still trying to get to that sense of knowing every day, which is something like I'm really excited that this podcast is going to help me with. I saw this post on Instagram that I really liked, and it's actually one of the ones that stuck with me, which is when you feel lonely, which is something a lot of us feel when we hit a low. When you feel lonely, it isn't always an invitation to reach out. It can be an invitation to turn in, to really understand what you need in that moment. Maybe the loneliness isn't a lack of connection with other people. It could be a lack of connection with yourself, a lack of loving and respect and understanding of yourself, which I think happens quite a bit, like more often than we probably think when we feel loneliness. It's not always surface level. And like those really hard feelings are always an opportunity for us to turn in. I also want to hear the lessons that people got from their highs. So like once you achieve the thing, like that what you're really going for, what did you learn? So what I want to get out of season 2 for myself and hopefully for all of you listening is learning how people use the lessons from both their highs and their lows to one, enhance the quality of their lives, two, improve how they show up for themselves and others, and three, overall just become like better, more interesting, more fun to be around, kinder people. I definitely don't want the show to be a trauma series, so I'll include lots of lighter conversations with people who just seem to be really, really good at certain emotional health things, whether that's maintaining really strong friendships or how tools that someone used in therapy or learned in therapy got them through certain decisions that they had to make in life, or chatting with someone who is just seemingly consistently happy and content and understanding how they stay that way. I want my page to be a place where I can share how everyday people are working to make themselves better. Like I said, not everyone can spend ridiculous money per month learning the tools that help us get emotionally healthy and make good decisions for ourselves. And sometimes we don't even know why we are doing the self destructive things that we do. Or sometimes even a step beyond that, like we don't realize what we're doing is hurting us. We've all royally messed up and we've all really, really succeeded at things. I want to hear from everyday people, not some guru, about the tools they use to be happier, make better decisions for themselves, and get through the hurtful and hard times in stride. If we really know who we are and make decisions aligned with that, everything else will fall into place. So, join me on my journey to becoming a more self aware, resilient, stronger human being who cultivates healthier relationships and can make decisions that are most aligned with my goals and your goals. So, now let's try out that new tagline for season 2. Welcome back to We're Already Here, a podcast bringing you tools by and for everyday people on how to show up better for yourself and others, be stronger and smarter in the face of hardship, and really soak in the highs without angst from the past or fear of the future. It's a little wordy, but I think it gets my point across. I'm excited to see where we go from here. Thank you for listening.